Alrighty, Rusty's Crypto Cave here. The S19J Pro Plus 120 terahash model is up and running. It's been up for 5, 6 days, 7 days, something like that now. And I have it on low power mode, and it is currently on that breaker right there at 4790, 4800 roughly. The other rigs that are on that are the 8x6 3080s. That is probably running around 1500 watts or so. Let me pull my phone up, I can actually double check. We have, as you can see, a 3080 rig shows 1440 in Hive. It's not in an octominer, so that's not completely accurate, so I'm going to probably say 1500. And then the other rig is this end one, which is on Flux. It is Octo 2, and as you can see, it is at 943. So that is running roughly about 2400 watts at about 95 terahash in low power mode. I'm going to keep it in low power mode until I get the Fruit and Associates kit in. So I have the inline fan already. I've had that. In the previous video I mentioned I didn't have the exhaust outlet, but I do. But I'm debating where do I want to put it, here or where I want to put it. And the only thing I really need is that Fruit and Associates kit to be able to hook up the inline fan. So once I get that in, then I'll crank her up in full power and just let her eat. Because that should put that breaker at about 5600 wattish or so, in that ballpark. 57, maybe 58, somewhere in that range. But I just want to get everything isolated and get that ASIC exhausting on its own and not into, because I have it kind of directed towards the exhaust fan here anyway, just to kind of get the heat directly out. But as far as temps in the shed today, looking at 91 on that guy there, 85 there. I have these off right now. It's at 76. Bottom vents are still in. I gotta pull them off to clean off the little dusty stuff. But power-wise, we're looking there. Intake to the S19. 77 there, 72 there. Ambient temp 68, so it's a pretty cool day here in Pennsylvania. The smoke has finally cleared for the most part. Yesterday was the worst day in my area. It was bad. You can barely look at work. There's a mountain range, quote unquote, if you want to call it that, for mountains in Pennsylvania anyway, across from where I work, and you couldn't even see it. There was that much smoke. So, but anyway, back to the crypto stuff. I do want to get that thing hashing away at full. I do want to order a Xilinx board for it as well and put Brains OS on it. Because I do really like the way Brains OS works there. I can just kind of pick a power mode or a hash rate or a power level, and it controls everything till it reaches either that power level or a hash rate. So say, for example, if I want to run that at 3000 watts, Brains OS will control the S19 and adjust the hash rate to be 3000 watts. And Panda just posted a video too. He noticed it, and I noticed it with the Brains OS. Depending on the chip temperature, your power usage will go up or down. So the key is, in the previous videos I said, you got to keep them bad boys cool, and they'll run really good. The hash rate may fluctuate down to, say, 95, 90 terahash, or up to 105, 106 if you're at about the stock power usage. I had that currently set at running at 110 terahash, so the power will go anywhere from 3100 to 3200 watts when it's nice and cool, up to about 35, 3600 watts when it starts getting warm. Because right now, that one is on here. This one is showing 53, 56. The Ivy Link uses about 2000 to say 2100. Say 2050, so roughly got about, say, 2300 watts is what that thing's running, or 3300 watts is what that thing's running right now at 110 terahash is what it's set at. And then this guy like I said before, is running at about 90-95 terahash at about, what did I say, 2300 watts? I think so. So roughly about 15 and 950 on that one on Flux. So yeah, about 2300 watts, somewhere in that range. And I noticed that one is a little bit over the 80% rule, or 2 amps over. Not terrible, but not ideal. Because I did move the mini Doge and the KD Box Pro, whatever one's it's what, I don't remember which one's which. Because they look the same. It doesn't matter. If I didn't have ridiculously cheap power right now, neither one would be profitable. So as soon as my power company catches on and takes me off my intro rate that I've been on now for 6-7 months, those guys will get turned off. But because all those are on that PDU there, that's the one that's kind of maxed out. So, but anywho, other thing I wanted to talk about while I'm in here is intake. I definitely need more intake. I know in my other video I mentioned about cutting this middle section out and just sliding everything down and just pretty much having a whole slot with just vents in there. Kind of really don't want to cut the shed up that much. And then I was chatting with Hobbyist in his Discord about, he's talking about active intake, which that actually might be a possibility. And I was thinking I could even do a 6-inch AC Infinity inline fan here, or maybe up higher, or somewhere in there, or down lower, or wherever. Or maybe even over on this side, build like a little shelf here, or something, I don't know. And have a 6-inch inline fan, and just get some extra intake from that. Just because I have way more exhaust than intake. I know those things aren't even on full bore, but when the temps do get up higher, I do have to crank them up a little bit. So I could do, like I said, another row. Maybe I should probably even just try that first, see if I could squeeze another row in here, even with those guys, and see if that helps. But I mean, those gable vents are $60, $65 now. I think the first set I ordered, they were like 52, 53. And damn miners keep buying them up, and the price keeps going up. But there's actually all my filters and stuff laying on the ground. Ideally, I guess that's probably the best bet. I'll start with that. So maybe I'll go in and hop on over some more gable vents. I'm going to grab a tape measure just to make sure they fit first, though, too. Just because if they don't fit, that's not going to work. I'll have to see if I can find a little smaller option. But I could probably add some more there. And maybe even be able to do 4 if I just put them a little bit closer, but then it's not going to really, it's not going to look pretty. So, I bet you there's enough room if I squeeze this one all the way up top. I bet you I could do 4 of them, which is probably what I should have did instead of spacing them out as much as I did. Because between this space, and there, you could definitely fit another vent in. So I probably should have paid more attention to that. But hey, lessons learned. You know, once the holes are cut, they're cut. So I can't really go back and change it unless I want to change the outside paneling of the shed itself. That's not going to happen until this crypto mining journey is over and I use this shed for normal stuff. So I got to figure things out. I could probably even put the active intake here, build a shelf, and just kind of vent it down. So that's another possibility too, but definitely need more intake. That's the biggest regret so far, is actually not building enough or taking into account the amount of intake I would need for the exhaust. So I know I have open spaces on these walls on the sides, and the same thing with there. Well, that's the electric's there. I'm not going to have intakes on where the electric outlets are. And actually, up in the gable itself, up in the trusses and stuff, I could actually even, I know they make different vents for there as well, so I can put that. But I don't want to have them on the sides, just because I know This is actually fairly protected from weather when it does rain. And then come wintertime when it snows, my guess is I'll be doing what the hobbyists have done, and maybe block off the bottom row. Even though my shed is elevated off the ground a little bit, it's sitting on blocks, so it's not right on the ground. But knock on wood, last 2 winters we were very lucky with snow and barely got any. So we're due to get dumped on. So is this year? Who knows? My guess is I work in the car business and we don't have any cars on our lot, so I'm going to guess we're not going to get snow until we have a lot full of 300-400 cars. And that's when we're going to get snow, when we have to clean them all off and move them around and plow the lot and all that fun stuff. So we'll see. But anyway, I'll hop on a computer and I can show you the S19, the performance of the S19s, the 104 on brains, and then the Pro Plus 120, and just see how they're doing. We'll catch us in there. Here we are in Brains OS. This is on the S19J Pro. Like I said, it's 100 terahash is the setting. It's showing power usage of 3228, in and around that range. I have found in the past that that's actually a little high when I actually just tested just this unit by itself, but we were just out in the shed, so it's probably close, at least, I guess. But I know I had some comments before as far as showing some more Brains OS as far as hash rates and voltages and board temps and chip temps and all that stuff with the frequencies. As you can see here, the frequencies are 560, 561. Voltages are at 13.78. This thing's been up and running for a week. It's probably, I guess, last time I shut it down or restarted it or changed the setting or something along those lines. But here's where you can really see as that chip temperature goes up and down, power usage does too, go along with the hash rate, or I mean temperatures, because the hash rate is designed to be maintained right around the 110 level, and then the power usage will go up and down based upon that. Whereas if I set it on, say to use 3,000 watts, it's going to adjust the hash rate depending on the temperature to maintain that power level. So that's this guy, and then I'll hop over to the S19J Pro Plus. Real-time hash rate 95.8, average is 94.6, runtime just under 6 days. So it's been on almost just under a week or so. Chip temp, inlet and outlet temps are good. But I mean, the temps here in Pennsylvania, like I said before, is about 68 degrees. And so temperatures are not that high outside at all. Very good for mining, I must say. So if you hear any goofy noises, that's my dog being stupid. So sorry about that. But as far as temperatures and stuff, looking good. Hash rate's good. Just need to get that Fruit and Associates kit in, so I can get the inline fan plugged in and set up and get that thing cranking at the full 120 mode, so I can get the full hash rate out of it and stack those sats. Because over in the pool, I can see it just switched over from it was 200 even to 199.8, but basically 24-hour average hash rate right at the pretty much 200 terahash mode. Or 200 terahash. That will go up to about say 220 or so. Once I get the Pro Plus at full hash rate and off lower power mode. You can see rewards history. You kind of say a very good day there, but then a bad day. That's the thing with the smaller pools, like Brains is that used to be Slush Pool, was the very first Bitcoin mining pool, and it's not the largest anymore. Probably hasn't been for a while, but I think it's somewhere around the top 10. But sometimes in the smaller pools, there might be a day or so that you don't get any rewards, and then you get big days like these two. So, but I've used Brains in the past when I had my S9s. Liked it. Actually, it was Slush Pool at that time when I had the S9s. And then when I got the S19s, I went right back to there because you can see my all-time reward. A bulk of that is from the S9s. Probably 0.155 roughly is probably around from the S9s. I believe I've only got 2 payouts from the S19 so far, and I have my payout set at 0.01 Bitcoin, so I'm halfway to my another payout, It says it's in about a week, but that might be a week and a half or more. It could be just under 2 weeks. That's why it says a week. It could be a week and 6.5 days, and it'll show that. But it really just depends on how many blocks the pull hits. No. Oh, and the other thing with brains, blocks found is still 0, which I don't know how I would feel if I found a block. I'd be probably really depressed, because if I was solo mining, that's a whole lot of money. But it's a lot of power to use just a solo mine too. So I don't think I'll be doing that, because the chances are so low. Even with 200 terahash, the chances are not very good. But what we're gonna do now, I'm just gonna let it run. I gotta get that Fruit and Associates kit ordered, because I still haven't done that yet. But so I have to get that ordered. Hopefully Amazon has some in stock, and it could be here in a day or two. That way, it'd be really nice if it could be here next day, but I doubt that's going to happen, because I'm off on Sunday. But if I could get it here by next Wednesday and get that installed, and it will be good to go, and I can shoot another video. And with that thing up and running and letting her eat at the 120 terahash and probably 3,300-ish watts or so. So until the next video, we'll catch you later. Take it easy.